Across 50-plus years and hundreds of performers, SNL has become a pretty big family, and you may be surprised to hear about some of its members who have sadly passed away. Norm Macdonald brought his unique comedy stylings to SNL as a writer in 1993, eventually joining the cast for the occasional sketch and as the anchor of Weekend Update. Macdonald, whose delivery was always arch, ironic, laconic, and blunt.
Well, it is finally official. Murder is legal in the state of California.
His relentless, darkly funny proclamations that O.J. Simpson was actually guilty of the murders for which he was acquitted led to Don Ohlmeyer, an NBC executive and friend of Simpson, ordering that Macdonald be fired.
He goes, oh yeah, I'm firing you there from the show. And then I said, oh, that's not good.
After SNL, Macdonald returned to his roots in stand-up comedy and starred in the short-lived sitcom Norm. Macdonald was diagnosed with cancer in 2013, but kept his illness private. He died in September 2021 at the age of 61.
You refer to yourself as a gunswinger, sort of a Lone Ranger of foreign policy.
Gilda Radner played a wide and wild variety of characters on SNL in the 70s, including nerdy Lisa Loopner, the kooky Barbara Walters-inspired Baba Wawa, and her infamous Weekend Update character.
Dear Rosanna Dana.
Radner left SNL in 1980. Aside from appearing in a couple of forgettable movies like Haunted Honeymoon and The Woman in Red, Radner spent most of the 80s fighting ovarian cancer. Her husband, Gene Wilder, told people that Radner would talk to her cancer cells as Rosanna Dana, asking, "Hey, what are you trying to do here? Make me sick?"
I want to talk to you tonight on behalf of a God-given American right, the right to extreme stupidity.
Radner succumbed to the disease in May 1989. Just a few hours after her death, SNL aired its season 14 finale, hosted by Steve Martin. Instead of a monologue, Martin revisited Dancing in the Dark, a sweet sketch from 1978 where he and Radner danced all over the SNL stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you can hear the sound of my voice.
Stand-up comic Gilbert Gottfried joined Saturday Night Live in 1980 as part of a full cast overhaul. According to Saturday Night, a backstage history of Saturday Night Live, Gottfried impressed producers with an audition full of his trademark shouting and wild behavior.
Why did the moron throw the clock out the window? 'Cause he's a freaking moron! That's why.
SNL was Gottfried's big break, and during his year on the show, he played a variety of characters, including What's It All About host Leo Waxman and director Roman Polanski. In addition to his acting career, Gottfried had a thriving stand-up career and spent a lot of time on the road. On April 12, 2022, Gottfried's Twitter account announced that he had died following a lengthy illness. His publicist later explained that Gottfried died from heart problems due to a genetic muscular disease. He was 67 years old. In the late 80s and early 90s, SNL cast members called Phil Hartman the glue because he was a versatile utility player who kept the show together and made everything better. But who was his frequent and most memorable scene partner? The equally multifaceted Jan Hooks. The Georgia-born actress was a scene stealer and delivered pointed and fierce celebrity impressions, such as a laser-focused Hillary Clinton, a smarmy Diane Sawyer, and a phony Tammy Faye Baker opposite Hartman's televangelist Jim Baker.
So, I asked my doctor what to do, and he recommended this. Balls off.
Hi, honey. I got off work early, so I came straight home and fixed dinner.
Hooks left SNL for primetime in 1991, joining the cast of CBS's hit Designing Women before taking a series of bit parts way too small for someone of her comic stature. But then again, who else but Hooks could have pulled off Jenna's sleazy mother on 30 Rock? In 2014, the 57-year-old Hooks died from throat cancer. Shortly after her death, SNL paid tribute with the re-airing of the poignant 1988 short film Love is a Dream, which starred Hooks and Hartman. After Dan Aykroyd left SNL in 1979, the show brought in his brother, Peter Aykroyd, as an actor and staff writer for the 1979 to 1980 season. His best remembered work on the show was likely Java Junkie, a short film in which Aykroyd starred as a jittery coffee enthusiast.
Hey, Joe. You okay?
Couldn't I have just one more cup, please?
In the 90s, Aykroyd co-created Sci-Factor, a syndicated paranormal series hosted by his brother Dan, with whom he also wrote the 1991 comedy Nothing But Trouble. Aykroyd also had small roles in his brother's movies Coneheads and Spies Like Us. In 2021, the 65-year-old Aykroyd died of sepsis resulting from an untreated hernia. Dan Vitale appeared in a few episodes of SNL during the 1985-86 season, including one of John Lovitz's first pathological liar sketches and a bit opposite guest host Madonna. Vitale left SNL midway through the season to seek treatment for substance abuse issues and never came back. He returned to comedy and landed small roles in the movies Anger Management and Malibu's Most Wanted. Vitale died of undisclosed causes on May 6, 2022, at the age of 66.
Every American has heard his voice, and for millions, it's synonymous with this place.
Don Pardo was SNL's iconic announcer and occasionally appeared on screen, playing, unsurprisingly, announcers. Pardo worked on SNL for 38 seasons, from 1975 until 2014. He was set to retire in 2004 until he learned he had a lifetime contract with NBC, where he'd worked for 31 years before SNL even began. Some of Pardo's other notable announcing work involved the original Jeopardy, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade broadcasts, and historic news broadcasts. In 1963, he broke the news that John F. Kennedy had been shot. On August 18, 2014, Pardo died in his sleep at his Tucson, Arizona home at the age of 96.
I will say the words, live from New York, it's, you know what, when I'm ready.
John Belushi was the first member of the original SNL cast to pass away. During his time on the show, he played a samurai trying out unlikely professions, a Greek diner worker, a singing bee, Beethoven, a Joe Cocker dead ringer, a blues brother, and so many others.
They all thought I'd be the first to go. I was one of those live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse types, you know?
Belushi also starred in the show's short film Don't Look Back in Anger, in which an elderly Belushi visited the graves of his SNL co-stars, wondering why he is the last one standing.
I'll tell you why. Because I'm a dancer.
It was the only elderly Belushi the world ever got to see. In 1982, the 33-year-old star was found dead of a drug overdose in his bungalow at Hollywood's Chateau Marmont.
There's you there! Whoops-a-daisy.
Chris Farley's life and death mirrored that of his idol, John Belushi. Both came up in the Chicago comedy scene, both dominated SNL, and both died at age 33. Among Farley's greatest characters were the motivational speaker Matt Foley, the starstruck host of The Chris Farley Show, and a would-be Chippendales dancer. After leaving SNL in 1995, Farley's movie career took off with roles in Billy Madison, Tommy Boy, and Black Sheep. Through it all, Farley struggled with his demons. He tried hard to get sober, reportedly enrolling in rehab programs 17 times. But in October 1997, a few weeks after hosting SNL, Farley died of a drug overdose. Phil Hartman was a key cast member on two of the most important comedy series to date, The Simpsons and Saturday Night Live. He voiced Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz on the former and played more characters than we can count on the latter. Some of those unforgettable characters include Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, the Anal Retentive Chef, Frankenstein's Monster, Frank Sinatra, Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton. Hartman's fellow cast members adored him. In Live from New York, Mike Myers spoke about Hartman, recalling, "He was extremely supportive and hilarious. He never gave up on a sketch, and his work ethic was amazing. Hartman was clearly a decent guy in real life, and audiences could sense it, even when he played jerks like Bill McNeil on his series News Radio."
Well, you've eliminated all my options. All that's left is backstabbing.
But that's just a small part of why Hartman's death was so shocking and sad. In May 1998, his wife, Bryn, shot Hartman before turning the gun on herself. The SNL legend was just 49. Under other circumstances, Charles Rocket could have been a huge SNL star, but he joined the cast for the 1980 season, the one without Lorne Michaels, which successor Gene Dumanian infamously mismanaged. Rocket provided some of that season's few notable moments, such as his amusing The Rocket Report, a series of man-on-the-street segments.
They have lots of stereo equipment. They must be a gang of thieves, I guess. Are you thieves, then?
Oh, and he also said the F word live on the air. The February 21st, 1981 episode of SNL was hosted by Dallas star Charlene Tilton. And the show parodied her show's huge Who Shot JR plotline by having an unknown gunman take a shot at Rocket. At the end of the episode, during the part when the cast waves goodnight from the stage, Tilton asked Rocket how it felt to be shot. He replied,
"Oh man, it's the first time I've ever been shot in my life. I'd like to know who did it."
Dropping the F-bomb on network TV was a huge violation of FCC rules. Rocket quickly lost his job. He went on to a decent career specializing in playing jerks, cads, and villains in comedies. Sadly, the 56-year-old's body was found near his Connecticut home in 2005. The medical examiner's office ruled his death a suicide. When Dick Ebersol took the reins on SNL in 1981, he built the cast up from scratch, starting with members of SNL's competition and Canadian counterpart, Second City Television, or SCTV. While Ebersol couldn't persuade Catherine O'Hara to switch teams, he did land Robin Duke and Tony Rosato. Unfortunately, Rosato didn't get much screen time. He was too stylistically similar to one of the show's big stars, Joe Piscopo. While Rosato managed to spawn a few memorable skits during his run, he was fired at the end of the 1981-82 season.
Bombs! 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 Nuclear bombs have been dropped! We're all gonna be dead! They dropped the big one! All the cities are burning! All the people are dead!
He worked steadily on Canadian TV, but then mental illness took a tragic toll. In 2005, Rosato called police to report that imposters had replaced his wife and baby. The cops didn't believe him, of course, and instead arrested Rosato on charges of criminal harassment, for which the comedian spent 4 years in custody, 2 in maximum security prison, and 2 in a psychiatric facility. About a decade after his release and rehabilitation, Rosato passed away from a heart attack in January 2017. He was 62. Among Saturday Night Live's original cast of young, relatively unknown performers was a showbiz veteran named George Coe. He'd performed in Broadway shows and on TV and earned an Academy Award nomination for his 1968 short film, The Dove. Then, 46, and the oldest cast member on the show by far, Coe was credited by name on only the first episode of SNL in 1975, but appeared in supporting roles throughout that inaugural season. After Coe left the series, he continued to rack up credits, and is probably best known to modern audiences as the voice of put-upon butler Woodhouse on Archer.
"Sir, that stolen lima bit one of your prostitutes right in the face, and she says she can't go to hospital because she's, quote, tripping balls."
He died at age 86 in 2015. SNL's occasional bursts of edgy darkness are the legacy of its first head writer and occasional performer, Michael O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue appeared in the very first sketch on the very first episode of SNL, portraying an English teacher who makes his student, played by John Belushi, repeat nonsensical phrases.
I would like to feed your fingertips to the Wolverines.
To the Wolverines.
While he was best known for playing Mr. Mike, a vaguely unsettling figure who read inappropriate children's stories like The Little Train That Died, he also performed impressions of what cheesy celebrities like Tony Orlando would sound like if they shoved needles into their eyes. O'Donoghue was an incredibly influential voice in comedy from his time on SNL, but he didn't stop when he left the show. He wrote and directed the cult classic Mr. Mike's Mondo Video, and he even lent his talents to Scrooged, co-writing it with his frequent collaborator Mitch Glazer. In 1994, O'Donoghue died of a cerebral hemorrhage at age 54.